Hi, Gordy. How are you?
Good, good. I've got a little screen up here saying got it, so I guess I'm supposed to hit that. There we go. Good. Yeah.
Always so nice to see you. You're always smiling, always happy. I love it. Have you been happy your whole entire life?
Well, I've been smiley most of my life. People have commented that. Like everybody, I've been through some ups and downs for sure. And um, I guess I feel fortunate that I have a certain resilience about myself that bounce back quite nicely and lots of good people around me, particularly family, good friends, and always Jennifer. So that's
Always, Jennifer. I love that. I've always been a happy person too. Like I feel very blessed to just I feel happy like the majority of the time. Of course, going ups and downs and
yeah,
get the hits, punches from time to time and stuff. But generally, I'm a happy person, and I kind of credit that to my dad, who when I'd see him, he just made me feel like I was just amazing, the most important person in the world, and just I'm sure that's why I am happy and have that core resilience
yeah,
like you said, and it's just when I started working at TD Canada Trust and I visited him at his head office when he was working at Edmonton, he took me to every floor and was like, "This is the president of TD Canada Trust, my daughter." Like it was just like he was just over
proud, proud. Yeah,
saying my accomplishments, but just that happiness is just embedded in you. I'm just so grateful to have that, and I
yeah,
know a lot of people don't have it, and I feel bad for you're not happy all the time.
yeah. No, I mean, family influences, and in my case, my mom was a calm, huge supporter of him, huge supporter. Would do, would walk to the end of the earth. My dad, he loved me, but he was so kind of focused on, putting the money together to keep the family together and a lot of some tensions within his work. So he wasn't as relaxed and wasn't actually, didn't verbalize the compassion anyway. I know he cared about me, but a very different personality. But my mom she was a rock star.
That's awesome. They say to have that one person that helps just kind of pour that love in and just be there for you all the time is all anyone needs to have a good life or a good start to life. So we're lucky that we had your mom and my dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, were they lived here and were they raised here or were they
No,
your
they
parents?
my parents my mom was in Vancouver and my dad grew up in Duncan, BC, and then they met in Vancouver. Um, the kind of really sad part is that I lost my mom when I was 14. And,
Hmm.
like you say, that influence is always there. And then you feel that she's looking out for you in a special spiritual way. Um, but I would surely have loved to have her along with me for more years than that. But, you know, you cannot predict these things, and you just have to respond as best you can to these things that happen.
That's 14, so that's so young. That must have been so hard on you to lose your mom at that young age. My
Yeah,
dad, my dad was 57 when I lost him too. It's just devastating to lose that core person.
yeah, yeah. You bet. You bet.
And did they move to Kelowna or
No,
did they live in Vancouver or?
yeah, yeah, they stayed in Vancouver, and Jen and I basically grew up in Vancouver till approximately 25 years of age. And we just felt in Vancouver, even back then, that I guess it was partly the people that we were hanging out with and so on. There was a real expectation of kind of a moneyed life and kind of a keeping up with the Joneses life. And Jen and I both said, you know what, this is not really what we want for ourselves, and it's certainly not an environment that we want to raise our children. And by a wonderful situation, I'd been coming to Kelowna for a few years. For many years, I was teaching tennis to people all over the province. And in Kelowna, the weather was always fabulous. The people were always fabulous. I said to Jen, you've got to come and take a look at this place. I think it's got lots going for it. And so we did. And I've never regretted it. We're regretting a few things going on in Kelowna right now, but you know, let's be fair to Kelowna. Many, many good years. So
Awesome. So how did you meet Jen?
I met Jen at a party in Vancouver. I was living with my roommates that I stayed together with about 5 years as we went through their first stages of university. And one of the roommates had a summer job at the hospital. He says, let's have a party and let's invite all these girls over from the hospital. So that's how it all started.
And you just knew? You met her and just knew?
Yeah, you know, it's funny that night, you know, we spent hours chatting. And, you know, we knew that there was something very special. And then the next 32 days in a row, at some point or another, we spent together. So, yeah, I got into kind of a nice, powerful relationship pretty quickly.
That's awesome. It's awesome. I love seeing the two of you together. You obviously have great love for each other.
Yeah, for sure.
So then when you moved to Kelowna, were you teaching tennis? Is that what you started off?
Well, actually, when we moved, I applied to various districts for a school teaching position. And Jen applied to Kelowna General at the hospital. And it just so happened that one of the doctors that she was working with in Vancouver was saying, I'm coming to Kelowna, and Jen, I want you to come with me. So she got her job first, and shortly after I was able to get a teaching position in Kelowna. So it worked out well that way, really.
Awesome. And where did you start off teaching?
My first teaching position in Kelowna was at Hollywood Road Elementary on the west side. And it was kind of neat. While I was there, I had been teaching in Vancouver for a few years before we moved up. And I was a graduate of Simon Fraser's professional development program. I was kind of recruited, I guess, in a way, by the university saying, we'd like you to come and join our staff on a 2-year appointment. I don't know if you're aware, their program was really cool. They snuck out teachers that they thought had a lot to offer and said, give it everything you can for 2 years, and then we're going to push you back into the classroom. So it was 2 wonderful years. I met so many great people and so many great teachers. It was great, really good. Awesome. And then back to the classroom I went. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you started off in Hollywood Elementary, and then how long were you there?
I was at Hudson Road. Maybe I said I'm in Hudson Road.
I was going to say I don't remember a Hollywood. Hudson Road. Okay, I know where Hudson Road Elementary is.
Yeah, and then I came back after my Simon Fraser experience and went to South Kelowna Elementary. 6 fabulous years. God, that was a great school. And then Bellevue Creek was next. And then at McClymont Elementary, I helped open at McClymont School.
Really? Nice.
That was another great experience. And then I decided to try middle school. Left elementary, and first year of middle school was not a ton of fun. Big adjustment. Kids were challenging.
Yeah.
I pulled myself right out of my comfort zone and to go to the middle school. But after that first year, kind of get your sea legs. And my last few years, like my first year at Constable Mill Bruce was tough. Then I had 3 more years there, and I enjoyed them. Lots of good kids and some wonderful staff. And then I was asked by a principal over at KLO, would you like to come and join our staff? So I finished up at KLO for the last 4 years, and that was a remarkable, wonderful experience. I had so many great kids. Oh,
Mhm. That's awesome. And hearing you being a teacher and stuff, I know it was so important to you. And when you and I have been at KSS together and people know you and you're waving at them and you still have lots of fans chasing you down and stuff. What were some of the most important things for you being a teacher?
um, although I'd have to say there are a few things. One thing that I felt very strongly about in teaching was obviously trying to be kind and compassionate to the students, but also make sure that I drew the parents into the situation so that we had this learning triangle of the three of us. And, I had parents who would drop by and kids would tell me, Mom and Dad would like to see you about this or that. And so I wanted the parents to feel that they were a part of their education and of whatever I was presenting. So I'd have parents come on field trips with us and come in and do art projects and social studies projects. You get it back in spades. If you open the door and say, you need to be part of this, come and join us. Many, many parents, especially at elementary, they came through the door already. It was great. So that was one thing. I always felt very strong about not only staff at schools, but custodians, secretaries, and all the auxiliary staff that make the plant special. I always try to ensure that I gave them time, made them welcome to come into my class. I had some amazing secretarial staff who they did some great stuff for me, really did. And custodial staff was good. Some of them I still see today. They kind of remember that I treated them as an equal.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, I don't know. Quite honestly, um, what happened when I left KLO, and I was so happy, and it felt very fulfilled in some ways. But within 3 months, I knew I retired too early. So I phoned my old buddies down in Simon Fraser, and they go, "Oh my God, we need somebody in Kelowna." I go, "Well, I'm your guy then." So I only worked part-time, and that was perfect. But for the next 8 years, I worked out at UBCO. What happened was I was going to be going with Simon Fraser. And then Simon Fraser said, you know what? UBCO is opening in Kelowna. We should go to other places. So I kind of quickly got moved around to UBCO. And so many good people out there and so many wonderful students. Yeah, great energy, hardworking students, and we were able to get many of them jobs, which is really cool.
That's awesome. So were you teaching personal development at UBCO or?
My main role was to present workshops on classroom management, on, yes, personal growth for sure, a certain amount about the culture of school and what is a school and what makes a school tick. So I had these special seminars I would do with my students. And then as they went through their classes, I would, kind of help out where I could with their assignments, but they had professors too. The professors were there. But then my main job was to go with them to their practicum, go out to the school, because I knew all the principals. I knew all the people. I knew the school associates who were going to work with them. And then I would come into the class and I'd have to supervise them and provide them with feedback of the highs and lows. But, generally were highs, and only had to counsel a limited number of students out that they were just not in the right place. And that's never easy. Some of them were counting on it. They had parents who were counting on it. And go, I know, not easy. But in the long term, I think you'll see I'm doing you a favor. But it's hard for them to see that at the moment, that's for sure. So, yeah, UBCO was another 8 years part-time. It's a perfect way to kind of, retire.
That's awesome. I wish you were still there. Kaylee just finished her sociology degree. She's walking
Oh, yeah.
across the stage on Thursday. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
My heart's full for my daughter and stuff. And she recently got accepted into UBCO in the Bachelor of Education program. So she
Oh,
starts in September. So
no.
that would have been amazing if you were still there.
Well, I know there are people still doing lots of good things. Some of the colleagues that I worked with have also retired, but it attracts quality people. I mean, good people want to be in Kelowna. Yeah.
Mhm. Good people want to be teachers too. So
Yeah, and boy, we need to promote that. We need to ensure that our profession is strong in so many ways. So
absolutely.
yeah, well, good luck to her. I wish her good luck for me, and I hope that the program is all that she hopes it is, and practicums go well, and then eventually, of course, getting a position. Would she like to stay in Kelowna? Would she like to branch out, or?
I think she's open. Now she's last year worked at Boys and Girls Club as well, and just got hired on as a Boys and Girls Club again starting next week in a supervisorial position, which is amazing. And of course, sometimes the Boys and Girls Club have a different set of kids, some that are going through some tough times and stuff. And
Yeah.
she really likes making a difference. And it
Yeah.
was interesting to listen to her when she talked about the kids and that she'd see this kind of thing and she'd kind of observe and take it in and kind of try to figure out what worked best for them and stuff. So she's so excited about becoming a teacher. She's just like, she's looking up lesson plans and she's just busting to have her own classroom and really be instrumental in kids' lives.
That's exactly what we need.
And I'm sure I'll give you updates as the time goes on. So you mentioned that you used to teach tennis. So tell me about your tennis life. Where did it start? How did you get into
Oh,
tennis?
I started tennis young, probably about 8 or 9, and enjoyed the game a lot. Played hard, used to compete, and probably at about age 15 or 16, winning the odd tournament in doubles, particularly some good doubles partners. And then I just realized that I wasn't going to be going on any pro circuit, So I went to coaching. I got certification, and then so are you a Vancouver girl? Sorry.
Calgary.
Calgary.
I've only lived two places, Calgary and here.
Okay. Well, there was a really neat tennis club in Vancouver called the Arbutus Club. And I got hired on there for 4 or 5 years in the summer. So that would be my job while I would go through school. And then as I was, getting closer and closer to getting into teaching, I was offered a chance to travel the province and teach coaches how to coach tennis.
Wow.
And I worked with some of the students, but our main focus was we got to get the coaches on board, because once we leave, we desperately need them on board. So that was a great job. So
And you traveled to do that?
yeah, we traveled, but within the province, we went. We had 4 different circuits. Vancouver Island, kind of. There was one up north, one in the Okanagan Valley, and one in the Kootenay. And yeah, no, it was good. Boy, I met so many good people, and they were appreciative. Like there's back then, tennis was still trying to find its legs, so to speak, and but by working with coaches, open up opportunities for more and more kids, in particular adults, but you need the kids to get enthusiastic, and it worked well. It worked well. Teaching the high school kids wasn't as great because you'd walk into the high school and you'd have PE teachers saying, "Oh, well, you're here, you can teach our 40 kids how to play tennis on one tennis court." You're going, no, that's not going to work very well. So we had to rearrange some stuff and say, let's just look at what we're really trying to do here. Because, you've got a 35 grade 9 boys, and all they want to do is pound the ball up over the fence and into the river, So anyway, we worked it out. We worked it out.
And do you still play tennis? And
Yeah, yeah, still playing and pickleball. I'm a rackets guy. I spent years playing badminton, years playing squash, but right now, pickleball in the winter and tennis in the summer. I'm having some trouble with I've only got, as you're aware, one good hand, and that's my left one, and I'm suffering from osteoarthritis.
oh,
And I'm working with different people, exercising, icing, Tylenol. I've tried a little of everything I've got to keep this hand healthy. So that's a big goal of mine right now, keep it healthy. So
do you take cod liver oil?
no, that's one thing I don't take.
My grandfather, who was an avid golfer forever, swore that cod liver oil let him golf for his entire life. And he was able to stay upright because it really helps with your bones and stuff, I guess. So
Yeah, well, I'll look into that too. You never know where you find the winning thing.
I know you'll try different things to see.
Yeah.
For sure. Well, it's great that you had a passion for it. And was it when your parents that played tennis, or you just decided to try it one day, or?
Well, we live near a tennis court, and
Um,
my mom saw that how much I loved it. She said, "Okay, okay, I'll get you some lessons. Gonna send you to a really nice tennis club," which it really was a beautiful tennis club in Vancouver. And so I got great coaching and had a chance to play all sorts of good players. But what did she do? She went back to work to support so that I could go and play tennis.
oh,
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
no,
That's the kind of
no,
thing.
no sports are cheap.
No, no, that's right. So yeah. So that takes me to your daughter. She was totally into volleyball, wasn't she? Yeah.
Yes, yes. 7 years she did lots of volleyball and loved it. And I'm so glad to have had those times. And I was able to go to almost all tournaments and watch her play and stuff. And what a gift to find something that she was passionate about and continue doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
So that would have been at UBCO.
She got accepted into Briarcrest or was offered positions at Briarcrest and a school in California to scholarships to do volleyball, but she decided just to stay here and work. So it's hard to work and play sports. So she gave up volleyball after grade 12 and worked and went to university full time and did that. So
Yeah.
yeah, but the sports part, I'm glad she had that part of her life and
Yes.
stuff. And
Yeah. Yeah. You learn a ton developing
absolutely.
yourself with the sport or sports. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's good on it. Good on it.
And I think it's a good mix for kids too, because it's like school can be tough at times.
Yep.
So if you have kind of school and then you have sports with different kind of people, it's kind of, and the sports is kind of irritating you, but then you got school. It's nice. I think it's good to have variety and not be just one, right? So you got different things circling through your life to feed you and stuff.
Very, very important. Yeah. And so much learning goes on when you're involved with it, whether it be a team, it doesn't, whatever you choose, so much to be learned.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. So tell me about your kids and family and what happened there. And you and Jen moved here, and then what happened?
We had 2 children, Ian, who's 40 this year, and he went through high school, then went to UVic and into commerce and finance, particularly. And he now is kind of a dual life. He's here half-time, and he's in Calgary half-time. And he's doing very well in the finance world, let's put it that way. He's got a wonderful partner, who you might know the last name. She's a Byland from the nursery, Melanie Byland. And
Oh, yes. Maria's daughter?
daughter. She's
And Maria's lovely. I was just there the other day getting some plants and stuff, and what a
Yeah.
nice family.
very nice. Mel is similar to her mom. She's a real all-star. She really is. And she's just opened up a new Bylands nursery in town on KLO. So Mia has her thing on the west side, and her daughter has her thing in town. And they share a lot. I mean, they're very close. So that's good. And two little girls.
Mm.
We have Willa or Wilhelmina, she's 4, and Addie or Adelaide, she's 2, and lovely kids. You know, they play well together. They seem to enjoy our company. It's fun. It's fun. Our daughter Sarah was a very strong student and a very good athlete, and she finished grade 12 because we wouldn't let her go. We said, no, you're staying home till grade 12. But she was requested by the trampoline national team in Toronto, and the coach really wanted to work with her. So she went to U of T, and then she did all her training and trampolining, and she did well. She became a world champion. And
Wow.
yeah, she very, very talented, and loved the sport, loved the school, worked hard. And she ended up going to the Olympics in 2008 to Beijing.
Wow.
But unfortunately, just before they left, she hurt her back.
Oh.
And the coach says, you put in too many years, you're coming with us. And she trained with the team over there as best she could, but she didn't actually compete, which, you know, it is what it is. And she loved being over there and met people from all over the world. So good experience. And then she came back and said, that's it. My back is sore. I'm not going to wreck it. I'm going to do other things. She bike rides, she cross country skis, and she focused totally on school. She went on and got her doctorate at U of T in sports psychology and women's issues in sport. And now she teaches there part-time. And she has clients, many sport and generally female athletes who are struggling in different ways. Performance isn't what they'd like it to be, eating disorders, you know, pressures and expectations that they're not coping well with. And Sarah seems to have, because she's been there, she went through a lot of that. She's, I think, very helpful to them. So, yeah, but she's got 3 kids.
Wow.
So, you know, she's just having to keep a lid on what might be one day. University is always tugging at her. No, not now, not now. Got a beautiful daughter, Ella, who's 10, and guess what? She's busy on the trampoline again.
Oh.
She looks like her mom. She
Wow.
looks like her mom. And then we have 8-year-old Sparling, beautiful little guy who's totally into ball hockey and jiu-jitsu. And his little brother at 5 is into jiu-jitsu and soccer. So they're into everything. They're into biking, and they happen to be very fortunate. They live 50 minutes out of Toronto, and they live on a 52-acre farm.
Wow.
Which is just, and they put bike trails through the forest. It's really quite beautiful. And then in the winter, their dad, Bill, has a tracker, and he puts cross-country tracks on it so they can cross-country ski through the winter. It's pretty nice, pretty nice. And we love going back there, of course. So yeah, very lucky, very lucky.
That sounds magical.
It's pretty nice. Yeah, it really is. They worked hard.
Yeah.
nothing was given to him. But both Bill and Sarah they're smart. They look at life and figure out what's the next move, what's a good next move. So,
Well, I know you love being a grandpa.
oh
I'm lucky enough to see pictures from time to time from you.
yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you a little story right now that's been going on. Sparling, the 8-year-old, he is learning to skate, and he plays ball hockey, and he just loves ball hockey. And about a month and a half ago, I guess, when the playoffs started for Stanley Cup, he said, I think we should have something rolling here. I said, okay, what are we going to do? He said, well, you think that because we lived close to Toronto, I'm a Maple Leaf fan. But really, I'm an Edmonton Oilers fan because I love Connor McDavid.
Oh,
Great. Okay. So I don't know if you follow it all, but the first round it was Vancouver and Edmonton. And of course, they won in 7. They deserved to win in 7. And after every game, every morning, we have a little trash talk back and forth, texting back and forth about this, that, and what McDavid did, what the Canucks didn't do. And he got last night, they let him stay up and watch the first period of the game, and then he had to go to bed. But now that they've won
oh, he must be so
onto the
excited.
Stanley Cup, he gets to stay up and watch the games now. And he is so excited. So
Oh.
excited. So, I mean, Florida and Toronto are basically, pretty much the same time zone. So who knows what time we're going to bed.
Probably earlier games though, which would be good for him.
To some degree, but when the games were played out west in Edmonton and Vancouver, yeah, I mean, he was still 6 o'clock was still his bedtime. So anyway, it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah, that was a good series, the Oilers and the Canucks.
Yeah,
intense. I was rooting for Vancouver, but good games. Both teams played excellent.
Yeah, they really did. And played with a lot of heart, sure. Yeah.
Nice. Do you guys get together? All your family get together and do
Yeah,
stuff?
we every summer our daughter comes out to Kelowna with the kids. Bill comes for part of it, and they have this friend they've gotten to know, and they take over a home that's 3 blocks from our house, and our son's house is 6 blocks away. So summer is filled with family there, and then we go back to Toronto 3 times a year. And the other thing that happens, which is so, it's just such a lovely thing. Sarah comes out 3 times a year with 1 child.
Oh, so they have one-on-one with mom.
Yeah, they have one-on-one with mom, and then we get a chance to spoil them and give Sarah some time to visit with her friends. She so many friends here in Kelowna. So we really love that.
I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, what does Rotary mean to you?
Well, Rotary means a lot of things to me. I love how we're kind of together. We're like-minded in terms of values. We all kind of talk, a bit of a cliche. We want to make a difference in our community. We would like to make a difference internationally. The beautiful thing is we don't just talk about it, we do it. A lot of people in our community would like to make a difference, but they're not quite sure how to do it. They're not that organized maybe to do it. And then when they hear what we're doing, but 1 or 2 that are starting to say, I might need to come to a meeting.
Right?
Yeah. So there's that values align, the making of the difference. And I think we really care about each other there, again, all of us are going to go through ups and downs, and there's a certain tone that I find is really can sit down with anybody. You know, there's no edge particularly. There are a few who I find a little edgier than I'm comfortable with,
Yeah.
but they've still got good things to offer. But most people are there to enjoy one another's company and see how we can make a difference. So,
No, I love it. I love our group. It's like you
yeah.
said, everybody's there for each other for the ups and the downs, and it's just a good place to be. Like I look forward to our after hours things and our luncheons and the different events and
Yeah. I don't know. In the form of a question, do you find it different or awkward at all by the fact that it's male dominated in some ways, but you're breaking that down with all the things you're doing,
Brian.
you know. But I just kind of wonder whether, you know, you find that that has positive, negative impact on you being one of, I don't know, what would there be, 6, 8 women, something like
I
that.
think there was like 14 of us females, if I remember right, or 12 or 14, something like that. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, good question. I remember when we started coming back after the COVID and stuff, and I'm like, I'm the only female in this room like for a long time, and I'm like, okay, we got to change that. So it's so awesome bringing. We've brought quite a few new females on and stuff,
Yeah.
and I love it. And I and younger people and stuff. I really like the new membership and stuff. Now the core is definitely like the stereotypical Rotary, the white older males kind of
Yeah.
stuff, but um uh doesn't bother me too much because I was in banking forever, and definitely like at TD that was a lot of dominant in the male. Like when I was in when I left Calgary to come here, I was the last um female manager moving out from my half of the city and stuff, which is crazy. There's so many males there and stuff. So I'm used to being around a lot of males and a lot of
Yeah.
kind of bossy males.
Yeah.
So there's remnants of that still. Like in our club, most people are so fantastic, and I would say just there's a few prickly ones that
Yeah.
kind of sense that a little bit. But I kind of see myself as a person to kind of try to stop that, or
Yeah.
because if the secretary is missing, there's a room full of people, I'm the only female, and they go, shot. I'm like, no. Like I'll instantly shut it down. Like it seems to be an automatic reaction if there's some kind of administrative task or something like that. They'll turn to me, and I'm like, no,
Yeah.
which kind of throws them, but that's okay. And it's just kind of,
Yeah.
and I'm doing, I'm not being mean or anything. I'm just kind of
No.
like trying to change things and trying to get things a little bit different. So yeah, I do see currents of it sometimes. But when I call people's or talk to somebody about it, they kind of go, oh, because we get so locked into our patterns, I don't think we always necessarily think about how we're acting or responding to things. So hopefully I'm being a catalyst to kind of change that stuff a little bit. But yeah, mostly overall, everybody's fantastic with the same. I like Julie when I interviewed her, she said, we're all with the same heart. And I agree. I think everybody's there with the same heart and
Yeah.
motivation to make a difference. So I
Yeah.
think connected is great. But yeah, good question.
Well, do you know the other thing that I think is just around the corner? I think Justin's going to really shake things up.
Yeah, yeah,
You
I
know,
think he's great.
John has done what John has done, and you know he's had a real bumpy year outside of Rotary, so
Yes.
his leadership hasn't been the strength that he would have liked to provide, I'm sure. And
Oh,
then that's the other
I
thing.
think I think he did a great job. And I remember sitting with him and his wife at the president's dinner when he was becoming
Yeah,
president. He was so excited and he's so funny and he tried, but yeah, he's had things beyond his control outside that have kind of, shifted him left or right at times and stuff. But he's always has a good sense of humor. He's always got a smile and
yeah,
his intentions are like the best and stuff. So I thank John and admire John for all that he's done for us this year.
yeah. It's a big job,
It's a big job.
and depending.
That's why I backed away. I'm like, no, I don't have the time and with my work and stuff, I can't commit to coming to every meeting and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I look forward to sort of seeing um, you know, Justin's bringing kind of quite a different skill set in
Yes.
ways, and quick-minded, you know, like he sees issues and let's do it this way, we'll be fine. Yeah. And no, you know, he's a leader, and people certainly respond to him. I haven't seen him as the MC at the golf course club, but I hear he puts on quite the show as the MC.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No,
He's
no.
he's a change maker, like you said, a leader, and just a really great guy. And his background's pretty awesome, like all the different things he's done, and he draws on that to bring into our club, and
Yeah.
it's great. Now you've participated in a lot of different part of our clubs and volunteering and activities, and you were part of the board. I know when I was started, I love seeing you at the board meetings. I'm sorry that you're not there, but I get that why you're not there anymore. So much so that you were awarded the Haas Hussein Award last meeting, which is just well earned, well deserved, and so glad that you won that. Everybody's got good words to say about Gordy. It's like, oh, so well deserved. He's always there. He's always helping out. You almost say yes too many times, I think. I don't know if you agree with me, but
Oh,
you're always
no,
there for all of us.
that's an issue. That is an issue, knowing when to say yes and when to say no. And I think, you know, just in some ways, as Jennifer and I are on this journey, that becomes more important.
Absolutely. Family first, always.
Always.
Always, always. So thinking back to, because you've been a member for going on 10 years almost,
Yeah.
what are some key activities that have you been involved with that really kind of sticks out to you?
Well, you know, kind of one aspect certainly has been trying to build the membership. And we just have a terrific committee. You know, it's everybody certainly does their part, and even the last year I've had to kind of slow that down a little bit. But you know, Roger's right there beside me, and Annie, and Doug Gosso. That man, he always impresses me, you know, with the way in which he's prepared to help. Yeah. And you know, Gord and Baron, and it's a nice group. It's a nice group. I certainly plan on staying on. Whether I'd stay on as co-chair, I'm not sure yet. A lot of things about my life I'm not quite sure of right now.
Right? Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
But that's a bonus about Rotary too, because like again, my work takes me away sometimes, but it's nice that I don't feel like I have to be there every meeting and
yeah,
be everything. I can give what I can give, and people are thankful for that. So
yep, yep, yep. I think that some of the work in terms of scholarship have been very important to me. A little story again. Just this morning, this is classic. We've established who the 20 recipients are going to be of our Strive Scholarship. And OKM has one student, and KSS has only one student. Lots in Rutland, lots down at Central School. So when it only has one student, we tend not to have a Rotarian come to the ceremony waiting for hours for this individual to come across the stage. So I phoned them and said, you know, I'd like to come by and give out the certificate and the scholarship today. And the woman says, oh, you're not going to believe it. That student that you're coming to talk to came into my office this morning, so anxious. How am I ever going to be able to afford going to school? And all of a sudden I walk in there with, you know,
oh goodness.
$1,500 is a nice little
Yeah.
helper. And this young lady, if you just saw the look on her, she
Oh.
got called down to the office because that's where it was. And she thought, oh my God, I haven't done anything wrong. But she was really kind of a little queasy on that one. And then when she found out what it was about, she just, and so, you know, the Strive scholarships allow for, in this last year, Bruce Henderson and Rick Potter and I've been sort of a group, and Randy too, but unfortunately he wasn't able to be for some of the selection stuff. But you get a chance to read some of these applications and you realize, oh my God, we're grateful that you get up every morning because you are fighting an uphill battles a lot of the time, lots of family strife and blah blah. But when you finally get a chance to meet some of these, like tomorrow morning I'm going to KSS and I'll meet that one student. And then I love going to Central School. They have this very special ceremony that they do. And Bruce and I hope Norm Letnick will go to Rutland, because Norm's been a big supporter. Like every year, I need somebody to give out the scholarships. He's there like a bird dog. But Bruce will do it too, and he'll do a fabulous job. So anyway, it's just being able to brighten the lives of these kids. That's been one of my highlights for sure. The food program. Oh my God. Rick Potter has done a phenomenal job with that. And the last year or two, I mean, I did it for 5 years and I had to step back. Jen did it with me for a while, but that time in the mornings is not quite right. So, but I have such fond memories of the kids at Spring Valley. First class kids. I could go on and on. Projects in the community, food drives. I mean, I just love interacting with the community, and they appreciate what we're doing. They see what we're trying to do. And one day, I don't know if it'll happen, but I really would love to do something internationally. But I'm just not sure how that'll work. So I have to be on the back burner. I am going to go to conference next year.
Are you in Calgary?
I've already mentioned to Jen, she's coming.
I was eyeballing that too. I'm like, oh, maybe even I can swing that. So
well, when it's in Singapore or Melbourne, it's becomes kind of cost prohibitive. But anyway, they brought it back to Calgary, so we better support it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, at our board meeting, Bruce had some of the applications for the scholarships. Wow, reading them was like so inspiring. Like you mentioned that these kids, like how they have achieved what they've achieved, like the tragedies that some of these kids have gone through and are still thriving. Wow. I'm like, can we give out 10 times the amount of these? Can we put zeros on the end? It's just like, it was like, I can see why you love that so much. To these kids that are applying for this are just extraordinary for sure.
Yeah. And the other thing, it gives me an opportunity to meet, like, not all, but a few of the staff at Central School. Wow, they are special human beings in terms of how they relate to the kids. And they just want the best for these kids, even though, and there's a few people that work with the school and the college, in the trades and stuff. They allow so many of these kids to try their hand at many different trades to see if something will click for them, because a lot of them that's where they have probably the best chance. They're not academically. So, and we need lots of great tradespeople.
We do for sure.
Yeah.
So what would people be surprised to learn about you that most people don't know?
Well, I'll say this because a few people do ask me, and that is, I have had cerebral palsy all my life, and I actually had it from birth. I won't get into the long story of all that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and that experience of having a right side weakened, not as doesn't have the dexterity of the normal hands of people, has forced me to be strong, you know, and again, that mother of mine plays into this. She was saying, "There's nothing you can't do. Let's get on.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
get on with it."
Oh,
That attitude, you know, we were talking about was your dad, you know, and that attitude that fills us up, you know,
mhm.
and we carry it on.
Well, you proved her correct.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It's
I don't think I knew that. So what would you like to share about yourself or the Rotary Club that we haven't talked about?
well, what uh, I would like for more of the members to get on board with the importance of more members. I think as a committee, we kind of feel that we're carrying this torch, trying to. And a year or two ago, I really did have was kind of on a roll, and Bill at Redmond was so supportive and helped me out in a lot of different ways. And we, you know, I think we brought in about 14 that year. But it's not Gordy, Roger, and a committee. It's got to be a belief that we are special and we have something to offer to people. We need to see more people coming out to lunches and kind of taking a look. And the other aspect of Rotary, which I have not been overly involved with the golf tournament, but I'll tell you, the people who do it, I just think they've done an unbelievable job.
Mhm.
Robin Smith, the last couple of years, I think it's just been a great leader. And without that particular fundraiser, our lives would be very different at Rotary. So I'm grateful for all those hours that he and Justin and Doug Gosso. I mean, there's so many of them. Dick Dumond. Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing.
it really is. It really is. And I've been around it enough. Like, you know, I always sort of volunteer on one of the holes or whatever. And sometimes you have a chance to chat with some of the golfers, and they really like it. They like the
Mhm.
format. They like the fact that one of the guys in their four, or it's a five-some, is a pro who can give them little tips. They know they're going to get a great dinner. They're going to get some great prizes. I mean, it's really, it's a well-oiled machine, but it demands a lot of time and energy from a certain core. So,
First class for sure. Very
yeah,
proud of that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I think that's.
Covered lots.
I enjoyed it. Thank
Oh, I
you.
loved it. This is great. Thank you, Gordy. I really appreciate your time today.
Yeah. Well, let's say hello to each other tomorrow.
Okay.
We'll
Sounds
go from
good.
there, kiddo. You keep up the great work. You've well, I would say you and Lynetta have added a dimension, and Julie, I know, is right alongside. Um, the whole technology side, whether it be what you're doing here, making sure things are recorded on camera, and then of course the website and Facebook and all that. It's I'm the one that gets some of those phone calls. Oh, I saw on your website that.
Awesome.
That's
That's the
because
plan. That's the plan.
that's people like you. It does, and that's I'm bringing somebody a week tomorrow who said, "Oh, I saw this on the website. It sounds like you got a really good club. Well, come and take a look at it." So,
It's awesome.
yeah.
I love doing that part of it. I love bragging about our club. We have such a great club.
Yeah. Well, thanks for all your good work.
Thanks, Gordy.
Okay, talk to you soon. See you.